Sir, I will charge you with assault and kidnapping. I'm not resisting. Why are you both up on me? Face away!
Officers gave him instructions.
Harassment. I'm going to go and talk to security about you.
Have you on video camera.
Hello guys, we have reached the 100,000 subscribers and I'm very grateful for your trust. As you can see, I try to make the content as interesting and high quality as possible, and I promise that I will try to please you even more. As you know, I am struggling with YouTube, so if you support me by clicking the thanks button, I will be very grateful. And let's get started. A road rage incident quickly turns to blows, and it was all caught on camera last month. One of the men in this video is no stranger to the sheriff's office in Los Animas County. In fact, it's one of their own. This cop just a few months ago swore he would enforce the law so he wouldn't get fired. Now he's attacking a teenager again. Lots of cussing, all coming from the mouth of Henry Trujillo. It didn't take long for this verbal altercation to escalate into something much more physical.
The people are supposed to be able to have trust and stuff like that in them to protect and uphold the law, not to abuse their power or think they're above the law.
That's David Romero. His son was riding this motorcycle along Santa Fe Drive in Trinidad last month. According to a police report, Trujillo told officers on scene that it was the teen who started the fight after he had been tailgating his car. But Trujillo did not mention the fact that he began berating the teen using harsh profanities almost the moment he exited his car. Both parties were cited for disorderly conduct and released from custody.
My son he was scared, and I mean, this is a grown man doing that, and I mean, my son was scared, and I mean, he defended himself the best way he could.
I think the officer and the officer's supervisor and anyone else above him should be held accountable for allowing him to keep his badge and continuing to act as an officer when he's really a criminal. For some watching, the name Henry Trujillo may ring a bell. It was just last month that the actions of Trujillo and two fellow deputies sparked a federal excessive force lawsuit. Attorneys for Kenneth Espinoza say he was tased around 35 times during a routine traffic stop.
You've got a person who just cannot interact with the public, either as a police officer or just a member of the public, without resorting to violence, and any sort of conflict resolution is just not something he has.
That lawsuit is still awaiting its day in court, but Trujillo is no stranger to the defendant's table. This is now his third disorderly conduct charge since 2006. Conduct tied to fighting in public and making obscene gestures towards other people. Romero's father believes Trujillo, now on his fourth stint with the Las Animas County Sheriff's Office, has some work to do.
All I want to see done is just accountability held and something being done about it, so that this doesn't continue, or other cops don't think that this is okay behavior, and like it continues.
And the next video is another arrest for refusing to show ID. I'm not sure if this guy is right, so I wanna discuss it with you.
What's going on? You have all this to do not identify yourself. I'm going to jail. You're going to kidnap me? What crime did I commit? Right now, failure to identify yourself. What do you need my ID for? What is the crime I committed? Because you were involved in an accident. I'm not saying you committed a crime right now. Why are you shaking, man? Are you alright? Are you nervous? No. You're shaking. That makes me kind of nervous, man. You're over there with all these guns and shit all suited up. You're the one shaking. Are you alright, man? What's going on here? You see him shaking? Yep. Do you need medical attention? No, what I want right now is for you to identify yourself. That's what you want? That's nice. If you want anything you want, you ain't going to get it. I made a deal with that man right there.
Put your hands up on the car.
I said, hey, maybe...
Put your hands up on the car.
Okay? I worked out with him that I will cover the damages. That has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Do a report. Do you report it? That's lovely. Hands up. At this point, I wish to remain secure in my person's papers and effects. Sir, I will charge you with assault and kidnapping. I'm not resisting. Why are you both up on me?
He's not on you. He's holding your arm.
I do not wish for this to happen, gentlemen.
Before, I would have thought that there was nothing wrong with the cop shaking and acting weird. But if you've seen my drunk cop video, you realize that a drunk cop with a gun may not be a made-up story.
But the reality,
You were given a lawful order.
No, that's not an order. Dude, my wrist is backwards. Come on, man.
It's not backwards, it's on
That's
right.
not backwards. Come on.
It's supposed to be like this so you can't.
So I'm supposed to be like this and like break my wrist? Come on.
It's not
man.
broke.
No, but you're gonna go try and sit me down in the back of your car like that. You want me to break my wrist when I
It's
sit
not
down?
going to
Come
break
on.
when you sit down.
Look at this. Am I even resisting? Is there a need for this, or is it just so that you guys can feel better about yourselves?
Oh yeah, real good about myself.
Yeah, you do, huh? You know, there's real crime in this city. There's like murder.
There is, like
raping.
failing to identify yourself when
Yeah,
you're involved
failure
in an
to
accident.
identify as a crime. I want to see the charge for that. What charge is that? What law did I break by failure to identify? Let me see. Is South Dakota a stop and ID state?
We're not
Gentlemen.
stopping an ID, you're involved in an accident.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Show me what law you're saying I'm breaking. You're over here throwing me in a car.
Okay, knives on you beside this one?
I have all kinds of stuff on my pockets that you are not free to touch, sir. That is my property.
Exactly, and you're under arrest. Any other knives?
I'm sure I got plenty on me. What are you doing with my property?
Your property's in the front seat right next to where you're going to be.
as far as I know, this man was involved in a minor accident crashing into a building. He didn't flee the scene and he and the owner of the building were working it out. But the cops came by and started questioning the man and asking him to identify himself.
It might behoove you to know that there's another small knife in my right pocket. And I really know you were not allowed to reach into my pocket. I'll take the cuffs off and I'll get it myself.
It's in your front pocket, you can't reach it anyway. Get in.
Do not touch.
All right, have a seat.
I'd rather not.
I don't care what you rather do. Get in the car.
This is against my will. How does someone fit back here, really?
Not very good. So the statute that you need to identify yourself for is you hit the building.
Is that the law?
Yes.
Is that a statute or
South
is that
Dakota
law?
State Codified Law.
Is a statute. It's not law.
It says codified law.
What sovereign writ that law? The state of South Dakota is not sovereign. I am not in the state of South Dakota. I am on
All right,
the land.
you can explain
you
that to
call.
the judge. I don't need to hear it. You can explain that to the judge.
Well, you guys are going to release me and stop wasting my time, or I'm going to charge you for my time.
You can identify yourself.
Or
for
you
the
guys
accident
can keep
report.
running your extortion racket, because I've worked out with that man that I will compensate
Really?
any and all damages, and I don't
funny.
need no third-party interlopers interfering into my affairs.
Because he said you didn't identify yourself.
I identified myself to him.
Not according to him.
Okay, then he can go to court and we'll have this conversation in court. But I have nothing to do with you two clowns.
And the following video is about how the cops tried to shift responsibility for the fatal arrest from themselves to the suspect. I'm not excusing criminals, but if cops break the law, they are no better than the people they are looking for.
Turn the car off!
Medina started to come out through the right rear door. A Mesa detective deployed pepper ball rounds aimed at the vehicle door and the ground near Medina.
Where's the police? Stop!
As you just heard from the narrator, Mesa PD Detective Richard Encinas, the officers have their firearms drawn and have deployed pepper balls at the suspect in the back seat of the car, Michael Medina, who had been wanted for multiple outstanding warrants as well as multiple charges including disorderly conduct, burglary, and criminal trespass, just to name a few.
Commands were given from officers, and Medina again exited the vehicle, this time with a backpack on.
He's about to run. Face away!
Officers gave him instructions to surrender, but he failed to comply. Medina began shifting his weight around and looking in all different directions, and then he took off running. I wouldn't have a question if the cops had been honest about how it happened, and I'm sure they would have been exonerated. But other than the lies in their reports, the video clearly showed the moment the man suffered fatal injuries.
Encinas, stating that Medina was shifting his weight and looking around before running, was deliberately chosen phrasing to push the blame over to the suspect, to slyly justify the officer's actions during the rest of the encounter. As we see another angle at the moment Medina took off while the officers continued to fire tasers, more pepper balls, and beanbags to try to stop Medina.
Back to the sound of my voice! Walk back! I'm scared! Walk back!
Medina continued to run across Mesa Drive, with detectives chasing behind him. As a detective caught up to Medina, he reached out to push Medina off balance. Medina lost his footing and collided into a block wall in the 1300 block of South Mesa Drive.
They would say things like he reached out to push Medina off balance, and Medina lost his footing and collided into a block wall to absolve the officer of any responsibility for his shove being the reason why Medina was pushed into the wall. As another officer's body cam shows a more complete look at the moments before and after the shove.
And what's even weirder is the media reaction.
you're about to see it, but it's sad to realize that there are so few good and honest journalists left.
After he was cuffed, officers noticed that he was unresponsive and they could not find a pulse.
Medina tragically passed away after being transported to the hospital, making this incident just that much more appalling. Multiple local media outlets also reported on Medina's death at the hands of Mesa PD, using the same passive and neutral language, since the only information they had to report on was from the police themselves, which begs us to speculate.
And the last video for today is a traffic stop. Whether it's harassment or not is up to you to decide. But I wonder how these cops get retrained and pass athletic standards. This cop literally doesn't fit in the camera lens.
So this is where it gets kind of interesting.
Okay, I need you to confirm the plate is off.
See, because you obviously don't work at Nordstrom's.
Oh, I don't.
That means that you lied to me.
I obviously don't work at Nordstrom's.
Right.
And you know this because you know my life?
No, but you don't work there.
And how can you confirm that? What makes you believe I don't work there?
Because you walked in and walked out.
That's because I'm off.
Do you work there?
That's because I'm off. I start at 5 in the morning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's just chat and figure out what's going on.
I can't. I have places to go.
You didn't go?
Places to be.
Didn't go? I'm not.
Well, I
detaining
can't.
you.
I can't with your car there. Honestly.
You can back up. You know how this game is played.
I do. And I want you to get your lieutenant or your captain, whoever's down here, because this is harassment.
No.
This is harassment.
It's not.
You're outside. You're standing outside my work.
Friends, write your opinions in the comments. I think we have a lot to discuss, and anyone who wants to support me, I ask you to send how much you can spare by pressing the thanks button. This channel exists only because of you.
Harassing
I'm
me.
going to go in and talk to security about you too.
Oh yeah.
That's my name.
That's your name. That's okay. I have it on video camera.
Okay.
I have you on video camera.
And I haven't been anything but nice to you.
You haven't been anything but harassing to me.
Okay.
Following me around my workplace, saying that I stole a car.
No, I didn't say that.
That's what you claimed when you first approached
I said
me.
it was suspicious.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
What else was suspicious? That I just walked into my place of work and walked back out?
That you walked into a store and you walked back out. I don't know that you worked there yet. You haven't confirmed anything to me.
I don't need to.
That's right. Yeah, you don't. Okay.
I need you to move your car so I can get going.
You don't.
You're gonna make me late.
Go ahead. I'm not detaining you.
I can't move my car without you backing your car out.
If you can't get your car out of there, you probably shouldn't be driving. And that is a little bit sarcastic, but there's plenty of room for you to